Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my latest layout for Bramble Fox. And for this layout I'm using the February 2025 Fox Box, and I'm using the Fox Box Plus, which includes the Fox Cut Stencil 111 and the Paper Snips number 70. So I've printed 3 photographs that are 4x3 that I want to use, and I've cut out the paper snips already and they're in a tray all ready to go. For this layout, I've decided I'm going to use the Simple Stories collection, which was Simple Vintage Love Story. I've used it before, so I haven't got all of it, but I've got plenty to be making this layout. I wasn't quite sure initially what title I was going to use out of this Fox box, but I've gone with the gold shimmery movie magic, and I've got 3 photographs from a trip to the movies. So I'm thinking of building a vertical column that will take those 3 photographs, and I'm looking at what bits and pieces I've got left in the collection that I can add to make a couple of clusters as well. So any long bits of paper I'm looking to lie behind the photographs. So I'm just kind of like sketching out the idea at the moment that's in my head, and I've decided I'm going to use one of the darker pinks to actually back the photographs. Now you will have noticed that I've printed my photographs black and white. That is for a number of reasons. My husband and I are wearing completely different colours, which would have made it difficult with a paper choice potentially, but I also wanted to include the movie we were watching, and that was Wicked Little Letters, and it was I've taken a picture of the poster offline and I've printed that as well. And I think the 3 of them look much more cohesive, all printed black and white. And I think also that means I could use any collection to scrap it, and I think it goes really well with particularly this paper I'm holding at the moment with the flowers. It's got a nice multi-tonal look, and it will work with everything else in this collection. Now that I'm happy with the choices of the paper that I made, I'm going to now start to look at cutting them down a little bit to sit behind the photographs. I'm bringing in one of my oldest craft tools. It's a Fisker's ripping ruler. I don't know whether you've ever heard of such a thing. I used to make cards before I scrapbooked, and I've had it that long. In fact, it's potentially older than some of my children. Anyway, it gives a nice ripped edge without going off in any direction. If you want a straight ripped edge, does that make sense? Or is that a contradiction? Anyway, I've used it to rip the background there. It's better if you use it on bigger pieces of paper, actually. You need some leverage to be able to rip it. But anyway, I've got a film strip there. I think that's a 49er market one, and just tucking some extra bits in there just to add some interest on the left. But I'm liking how much of the black floral is actually showing around the photos. And I've got a couple of tags left from this collection, so I'm going to definitely be tucking those in as well. Now I'm going to have another look through all the bits and pieces that might be suitable to create some clusters. I really like this big camera. I think it works quite well. The photos look quite formal, don't they? They were taken in the cinema bar. So while my hands are busy, these photos were taken at the Everyman Theatre in Marlow. Now, we'd never been to an Everyman Theatre before. We'd heard about them, that you sit on lovely sofas and they bring drinks to your table and this sort of thing. And this was our first experience. And we were there for a weekend, and we got there first and we thought we'd go and watch this movie. And they also had the most beautiful bar as well. So we stopped there before the movie started, and these 2 photos were taken there. So it's nice for me to scrap them. I haven't scrapped them before, and including that we really enjoyed this film. Quite naughty. Olivia Colman is hilarious in it, and I would recommend it, and it deserves a layout. And it just goes really well with the elements in this February Bramble Fox Box Plus. So have you heard of the Fox Box and the Fox Box Plus? If not, get yourself over to bramblefox.co.uk. It's a monthly subscription that once you've got, you won't want to be without. Lots of cute titles every month, usually on different themes, very usable for lots of different scrapbooking layouts. Also, there's always some bits and pieces as well. And this month there's clapperboards and an Oscar and hearts and all sorts of bits and pieces. And plus, if you go for the Plus box, you always get a stencil. and you always get some paper snips as well. They're all coordinating on the same theme, so it's really worth it, and I would really recommend you checked it out on the website. So now I'm going to start actually really narrowing down what I've got on this layout and what I'm going to keep. I'm shortening some of the papers. I feel like they're overhanging a little bit, and I'd like a little bit more of the cardstock to show, because I am thinking of now adding in the stencil to add another layer behind the photos. So I'm just making sure there's plenty of cardstock going to be available to do that. The main part of the design I think is totally fixed, but I'm just making sure and getting everything back into place. If you've watched me before, I know it's frustrating. I can't make any quick decisions. If I do, I usually regret them. So it's a habit I've got into, but I just like to double check the placement of things before I start to use adhesive, because once I start to stick things down, I don't want to be lifting it up, because that doesn't work for me. So I've got this tray, and it's got all my paper snips and the other bits and pieces from the February Foxbox Plus, and I'm looking at adding a lovely cluster there at the bottom left, and I've just added some cut flowers from this collection underneath it just as a base. And I'm going to get the little drinks cup and some tickets, the clapperboard, and the Oscar, I think, all in that place, just to show it's an award-winning movie. And above the movie magic, I'm going to add the date night phrase as well. And I'm going to see if I'm going to add a couple more bits up by the top of the photographs as well. As I say, most of them I've cut out in advance. I've got some extra words there, and I've just got a few little embellishments, some hearts that I think I'm going to add around the page. I also found a couple of little phrases to add below the photographs. One is from the collection, and the other one is one of the paper snips. So I push this to one side and I bring in a separate piece of cardstock. I do this quite a bit so that actually I don't cover up the mixed media. Now I'm using a really pale pink oxide there, and so I'm after a really subtle effect. It's difficult to show it in the final photographs because it is so subtle, but in real life it's really quite obvious. But I just really wanted just to disrupt the white background and just give that softness that a stencil can do. So I'm obviously using a brush. I'm dabbing it off there on the left. I don't think the ink is as the ink pad is as good as it was when I originally got it, so I think it's giving me a soft colour anyway. And I'm trying to look on the right of where the layouts, the ephemera and the photos are going to sit, and I'm looking to try and add just a softness all around it. So this left-hand side is really easy because it's pretty much a straight line, but on the right I've gone with a bit of like a triangular effect. I think I've got it about right. I might not do, but actually it's so subtle that it doesn't really matter. I don't want it to be completely continuous, but it's just a gentle reminder that I've used this film strip stencil. So I think this stencil, this is the second time I've used it from this box, and I really like it. I've stuck down the main body of the layout over the stenciling off camera, and I'm just bringing in some bits and pieces now just to stick down the extra bits, using some foam and some glue dots to get the Movie Magic title in place, because I want to lift that up above the photos. And I tend to use glue dots to get the smaller perspectives on the layout, because I find that works really, really well for me. I prefer not to use wet glue unless I need to. Not very good with it, to be honest. Get a bit messy. So glue dots are a very good alternative. So while I'm just finishing this off, I would recommend that you check out the new perspectives in store. So not only is there a Foxbox monthly, but there's also new perspectives added to the store as well. So make yourself a brew and get yourself over there and have a good look what's on offer. I just wanted to say this is the finished layout. You can see the dimension that I've achieved there. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. If you got any questions, just add them to the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. So this is Sheena Rowlands for Bramble Fox. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you here again real soon. Bye for now.